Okay, question number 1. Internal control is a process designed to provide reasonable assurance regarding the achievement of objectives related to compliance, reporting and operations. All of the answers are correct. An internal auditor is evaluating the internal control system in place for an organization's cash receipt cycle. According to the existing control in place, the credit manager is responsible for authorizing the write-off of any debt that is deemed to be uncollectible. However, the auditor notices that 2 of the credit manager's assistants have been authorizing the write-off of bad debts without the credit manager's knowledge. Upon further investigation, the auditor discovers that the assistants have been authorizing the write-off of bad debts in a manner that benefits them personally. The inherent limitation of internal control best illustrated by this situation or scenario is: it is not a human error, it is not an external event, and there is no management override. It's collusion. 2 employees are doing this together. Which of the following is not a component of internal control? Crime. Monitoring is there. Information and communication is there. Control environment is there. Control risk not the component of crime. I hope you remember from the theory overview. D. Next. Which of the following consideration is least likely to affect how an organization implements a system of internal control? The use of outsourced service providers, it affects how an organization implements a system of internal control. The size of the organization does, technology does, but it doesn't matter how many employees are full-time, how many are part-time, so this is least likely. Which of the following parties is responsible for defining expectations regarding integrity, ethical values and accountability? Without doubt, it is the board of directors. They are the one at the top. Which of the following accurately matches the role and responsibilities with respect to system of internal control? First column is responsibility, which is out of alignment, and second is role. So responsibility, establishing proper ethical culture, that's the responsibility. Who does it? Whose role is it? Board of directors, wrong. That is senior management. Incorrect. Design, implement and operates an effective system of internal control. That is the responsibility. Who does it? Senior management. That is correct. That is correct. Evaluate the adequacy and effectiveness of controls. This is not the responsibility of operational management. Rather, internal auditor will do it. Oversees the system of internal control. Senior management, no. Board will oversee the establishment of internal control. That is not correct. Next. Which of the following statements is correct regarding information technology, IT governance? IT governance requires that the control objectives of information and related technology, COBIT, framework be adopted and implemented. There is no such. I told you, COSO's pronouncements, COBIT's guideline, they are not enforced under the law. They do not have the force of the law. So this is incorrect. They are not legal requirements, so legally required. A primary goal of IT governance is to balance risk versus return over IT and its processes. Well, this is a correct statement, because under COBIT, we have to make optimal use of our investments in IT resources. So the return of the investment on IT infrastructure should be balanced against the cost or risks of investment. So that is true. That is correct. Then IT governance is an appropriate issue for organization at level of the board of directors only. This is incorrect. It affects all levels. IT goals should be independent of strategy goals. Wrong. There must be alignment between the strategy goals and the IT goals. This is incorrect as well. Next, an entity requires all employees to submit expense reports before reimbursement of their expenses. The CEO submits receipts to the accounts payable clerk, who prepares a payment voucher and a check. This clerk uses the CEO's check signing machine to sign the check. The voucher and the checks are then sent to the CFO's office. The CEO and CFO can post adjusting entries to the accounts payable, cash payments, and journals. Which of the following is the most likely inherent limitation of the company's internal control? Now this is the problem here. CEO and CFO can post adjusting entries to the accounts payable, cash payments, and general journals, since they have the power to make journal entries here, as well as the authorization is with them. So there is a risk that they might override the control to commit a fraud. So this is the issue here. Then Jim opens the mail in the mailroom and records all checks received in the daily remittance list. He then gives the list and checks to Sally, the accounts receivable clerk, so she can record the payments in the account receivable subsidiary ledger. Jim and Sally agree to follow this procedure to streamline the controls over cash receipts. Which of the following is most likely inherent limitation of the company's internal control? Unsuitable objectives for internal control. In this situation, we do not see any setting of objectives for internal control. External events beyond the organizational control. There is no external event whatsoever. Management override. There is no mentioning of any management override. Collusion. Both of these can collude. If they might have received a payment, they totally remove it from the pre-listing and then they can just share the loot. So this can happen. Collusion. So what ideally should happen, I'm sure you would remember from the cycle, that the pre-list should go to the account receivable department for updating the AR, and the checks should go treasury for deposit in the bank. So they must be segregated. Next, Wise Corporation's password protection policy requires all employees to change their passwords every month. Good. Because of this requirement, technical support spends a significant amount of time assisting employees who forget their passwords. To increase efficiency, the CEO of Y cancelled the policy and subsequently requires employees to change their password every 6 months. This is not good. Which of the following is most likely inherent limitation of Y's internal control? No objective setting is here. There is no management override here. External events, no external events. Just break down that employees may write down their passwords and put it somewhere. 6 months is a long time period. So this can happen. There can be internal control breakdowns. A computer system's encryption protocol requires staff members to enter a different random set of letters, numbers, and other symbols every morning. Employees often use easily memorable sets of symbols such as their birth dates and phone numbers. Which of the following is most likely inherent limitation of the company's internal control? Same situation. Breakdown. Employees misunderstanding their carelessness could put the business in trouble. The chief operating officer negotiated a significant sales transaction outside the ordinary course of entity's business with a corporation in different industry. The COO, chief operating officer, is director of the other entity. The terms and conditions of the undisclosed agreement differed from the entity's standard sales contract. Clearly override. Which of the following is the most likely inherent limitation of the company's internal control? Clearly, CEO is a powerful individual, so he's using his authority to do something that benefits him. Which of the following statement regarding COSO internal control integrated framework is correct? The framework was published by ISACA. No, that's basically the parent organization that gave you COBIT 5 and COBIT 19. The COSO Enterprise Risk Management Framework was updated to become COSO Internal Control Integrated Framework. Totally incorrect. They are two different frameworks. COSO ERM is different and COSO Internal Control Integrated Framework, they are different. So this is incorrect. Publicly listed companies are required by regulations to apply the framework in designing their internal control systems. Incorrect. COSO, ERM, COSO, internal control, they do not have the force of law. It's just for the guidance purpose, unless the regulators require you to follow. Otherwise, they do not have the force of law. So this is incorrect as well. The framework includes objectives, components, and related principles. That's true. Which of the following is a component of internal control according to COSO Internal Control Integrated Framework? Remember CRIME. C-R-I-M-E. C for control activities, R for risk management, I for information and communication. So this is right here. Not these. Then, which of the following are components of internal control according to COSO Internal Control Framework? No function or compliance or principle. It's monitoring, yes. Control activities, control procedures, yes. Risk assessment, yes. That's the right option. A system of internal control is effective if it provides reasonable assurance of achievement of an entity's objective. Which of the following is an objective specified in the COSO Internal Control Integrated Framework? Operations, efficiency and effectiveness of operations. There is no objective with the innovation or risk assessment or productivity. Efficiency and effectiveness of operations, reliability of financial reporting, and compliance with the laws and regulations. So it is one of these. A system of internal control is effective if it provides reasonable assurance of achieving an entity's objective. Which of the following are objectives specified in the COSO internal control framework? We just discussed compliance, operations, and reporting. C. Compliance with the laws and regulations, operational efficiency and effectiveness, and reliable reporting. Which of the following are included in an entity's organizational structure according to the COSO internal control framework, integrated framework cube? So right here, so at this level, the top level is the entity level, then you have division, and then you will have a business operating unit. So it's going to be entity level, division, and operating unit. Next, which of the following is part of an entity's organizational structure according to COSO internal control integrated framework cube? Function, activity, transaction, and process. So the question is asking about this aspect of COSO cube. So this aspect here, that's the organizational structure, includes the entity level, then you have the division, operating unit, and function. So this is on this side. So what do we have here? No activity, transaction, or process. That's basically function. So according to COSO internal control framework, which of the following list an example of components, entity structure, and objective respectively? So remember, component is crime, we discussed earlier. Entity structure we've just discussed in the previous question. Objectives, that is compliance with the applicable laws and regulations, reliable reporting, and operational efficiency and effectiveness. So monitoring, is it a part of component? Yes. Entity level is a structure? Yes. And compliance is one of the objectives. This is absolutely right. There's no capability. Control environment is as a part of one of the components. Function, entity structure correct, but learning incorrect. So you would have a reason to reject BCD. Next. According to COSO internal control integrated framework, compliance, information communication, and function respectively are examples of what aspect of COSO cube? Okay, now let us link them. Compliance is one of the objectives, remember. Compliance with the laws and regulations, operational efficiency, and then there was a reliable financial reporting. Information and communication, it is one of the 5 components, and function is of course the organizational structure. So we are looking for first objective, which means either this and this. Second is going to be the component, which means this, and the last is entity structure. So that makes C to be our correct option. Okay, according to COSO internal control integrated framework, which of the following terms refers to the determination that internal control components are relevant principles exist in the design and implementation of the internal control system? Look at this specific word, relevant principles exist. It means they are present, and of course functioning is they're working as intended. So C is the right option, that they exist means they are present. According to COSO internal control framework, which of the following terms refers to the determination that internal control components and relevant principles exist, that was present, and continue to exist in operations for internal control. So they are present and functioning. Next. According to COSO internal control integrated framework, which of the following terms refers to the determination that all internal control components collectively reduce the risk of not achieving an objective to an acceptable level? Not present and functioning, rather operating together. When they operate together, they bring the risk to an acceptable level. According to COSO internal control integrated framework, an effective internal control system requires that each of the internal control components and relevant principle is present, exists, and is operational, that is functioning. Look no further, that's the right option. Which of the following parties is among the 3 lines of defenses for effective management of risk and control in an organization? Now, operational management, this is the first line of defense. Business enabling functions, second line of defense. Internal auditors are the third lines of defense. So that means internal auditors among these 4 is our line of defense. So they are the third one. So look at this. Operational management is the first, business enabling functions second, and internal auditors third. Which of the following parties is among the three lines of defense for effective management of risk and control? We have just seen our operational management is the first line, business enabling functions is the second line, and internal auditors the third. So audit committee no, regulators no, outside service provider no. Compliance, which is one of the business enabling functions, this is the second line of defense and hence the right answer. Which of the following parties among the three lines of defenses for effective management of risk and control in an organization? Now, not the governance committee, not the bond rating agencies, not the customers, risk management. This is the business enabling function. So this is the second one. Which of the following parties among the three lines of defense for effective management of risk and control in an organization? Operational management is the first defense. Look no further. Which of the following parties are among the three lines of defense for effective management of risk and internal control? Audit committee no, internal auditors yes, compliance yes, board of directors no, senior management no, external auditors no. So just 2 and 3. So that makes C to be the correct option. Okay, next. Which of the following parties have a role or have roles or responsibilities in the internal control of an organization? Compensation committee, customers and suppliers, employees, regulators, senior management, and outsourced IT functions. Remember, both internal parties and external parties have some roles and responsibilities in the internal control of an organization, so you can combine them all. All of these are internal, external, so which is going to be all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that makes it right answer. Which of the following parties is the first line of defense for an organization? Operational management. Just discussed that. Which of the following parties provide the second line of defense? Business enabling functions like risk management, compliance. Which of the following parties is the third line? We, me, internal auditors. The first line of defense for effective management of risk and control. So we are looking for the one that is involved in operations, operational management. Operational management sets down at the top, no. Operational management doesn't oversee, the board of directors does. First line of defense, operational management develops and implements risk management processes. Yes. Operational management assigned responsibilities for establishing specific internal controls. No. So that was clearly option C. The second line of defense for effective management of risk and control, that is business enabling functions, risk management, compliance, evaluates the effectiveness of controls in responding to risk, that is internal audit. That's the third line of defense. Directs the performance of control activities at the entity level. That is the senior management. Incorrect. Implements control to support the entity. That is the operational management. That is the first defense. So we are talking about the second line of defense, that is compliance and risk management. Monitors emerging issues affecting the entity's control and risk clearly. D. The third line of defense for effective management of risk and control are internal auditors. Select and execute controls. They don't select the controls. This is not the job of internal auditors. Examines and reports on internal control as required by PCOB. That is external auditors. Incorrect. Defines and communicates expectations regarding integrity, ethical values. That's the board of directors. Yes. Provide assurance about the effectiveness of control. That's the job of internal auditors. And that is our third line of defense. And that is why it's a right option. Senior management is primarily responsible for what? Implementing and monitoring controls designed by internal auditors. No, internal auditors do not design, draft, or implement any control. Designing and operating a control system that provides a reasonable assurance that established objectives and goals will be achieved. Well, senior management assigns responsibilities for this designing and implementing and operating of controls to the subordinate management. So this is not the role of senior management. What they do, they establish a proper ethical culture. Senior management sets the tone at the top and is primarily responsible for establishing a proper ethical culture and then ensuring that the internal and external auditors oversee the internal controls system. No, they do not have any role of overseeing, so this is the incorrect option. The board of directors is responsible for doing what? Evaluating the adequacy and effectiveness of controls. That is done by internal auditors. Examining and reporting on internal control. That is done by internal auditors. Providing the first line of defense for effective risk management. That is the operational management. Defining expectations about transparency and accountability. That is true. Internal auditors are responsible for what? Assessing the risk exposures in relation to organizations' operations regarding the safeguarding of assets. Well, that makes perfect sense. This is the job of internal auditors. They are the one who assess the risk, assess the adequacy and effectiveness of system of internal control and relating to safeguarding of assets. That is true. Operating a control system? No. Internal auditors do not operate any control system. They do not safeguard any assets, and they do not design and draft any system of internal control. Incorrect. So the correct option is A. Moving on. Where are the three lines of defense for effective management of risk and control? We have done many questions of this type. First line of defense is operational management. Second line of defense is the compliance or maybe risk management. And then third is the internal auditor. That's the third line of defense. So this is the correct combination, exact in the sequence given in the question. According to the COSO internal control integrated framework, which of the following statement is correct? The principle in the framework change with the application of emerging technology. Yes, there are technological innovations, but that doesn't mean that the COSO framework requires changing as well. Principles do not change even with the change in technology. The use of outsourced service providers relieves the organization's responsibility for its internal control. Despite having outsourced various functions, but still organization is responsible for its internal control. This is incorrect. The framework requires judgment in designing and conducting internal controls. This is the correct statement because judgment is required in designing, implementing the system of internal control. The framework is designed for larger, not smaller organizations. This is incorrect because this framework is applicable on all small or large businesses. It doesn't matter what size of the business is. Next, to which of the three lines of defenses for an effective management of risk and control do the following entities belong? Risk management, clearly it is the second line. Internal auditors are the third. Operational management are the first. So it's going to be 2, 3, 1. 2, 3 and 1. That is B. Which of the following is component of internal control defined by COSO internal control framework? Remember the word crime. Control environment is one of them. And that is the only component in these given options. So that is your right answer. Next. Which of the following are components of internal control defined by COSO internal control integrated framework? Information communication, yes. Control environments, yes. Control activities, yes. Correct. Governance wasn't there. Event identification, and here internal environment, no such word was there. Control environment is the right word. Next. According to COSO internal control integrated framework, which of the following list provides an example of an objective, component and entity structure? Remember, objectives were three. If you remember, efficiency and effectiveness of operations, compliance with the laws and regulations, and reliability of financial reporting. So among these we have compliance, makes sense, but there is no component with the name value creation. So this is incorrect. Customization, no such objective. Operations, efficiency and effectiveness in operations, that makes sense. Monitoring is a component, yes, that makes sense. So objective, operational efficiency and effectiveness, correct. Components, monitoring, yes, monitoring is one of the components. And then the entity structure review function, this makes this option incorrect. The last option, reporting, yes, reporting, reliable financial reporting, that is one of the components, one of the objectives. Control activities is one of the components in crime. C is for control activities, and division is an entity structure. This is the perfect option. D is the right option. In a small public company that has few levels of management with wide spans of control, more people working under a single manager, that is what you mean by wider span of control. Each of the following mitigates management overrides of controls except establishing an effective and anonymous whistleblower program with which employees can feel comfortable reporting any irregularities. This will serve as a factor that will mitigate management override. So good control. Establishing a corporate culture in which integrity and ethical values are highly appreciated. Yes, this will mitigate management override of controls. Having two officers who significantly influence management and operations. So if you put focus on this word significantly, that means this word itself indicates that they have concentrated more power so they can influence. So here there is a risk that they might override the system of internal control. So this is what can happen, and it's not something that can mitigate the management override of controls. Having an effective internal auditors function, yes, internal auditors can detect and identify if management has overridden any control. So A, B, and D, they will, but this is a risk factor. Then, of the following reasons to establish internal control, which is the most comprehensive? Provide reasonable assurance that the objectives of the organizations are achieved. Let's move in the reverse order. Safeguarding the resources of the organization, good, but it's narrow. Ensure the accuracy, reliability, and timeliness of information, good, but it's a narrow focus. Encourage compliance with the organizational objectives, good, but focus is small. But this one is most comprehensive. Provide reasonable assurance that the objectives of the organization are achieved. Next, which of the following represents an example of an inherent limitation of internal control? Customer credit checks are not performed. This is not the inherent limitation. This is in fact the failure to implement internal control. Shipping documents are not matched to sales invoices. This is the failure of the system, not the inherent limitation. Bank reconciliations are not performed on timely basis. Again, this is not the inherent limit. What is inherent limitation? That controls are in place, but they may not work because of collusion, because of management override. So these ABC are not correct. The CEO, who is in very powerful position, can override controls and request a check with no purchase order. Since he is in a very strong position, dominating position, he can use his position to do something that violates control. That is the inherent limitation, and hence our right answer. Which of the following is an inherent limitation in internal control? Lack of an audit committee, it's a poor internal control. Incompatible duties, poor internal control. Lack of segregation, poor internal control. This is the weakness in internal control. But having a strong internal control despite can suffer from management overrides, collusion, and faulty human judgment, because we use judgment in designing and implementation of the system of internal control. This can happen. Which of the following is an inherent limitation of internal control? I just discussed collusion. Which of the following would not be considered an inherent limitation of the potential effectiveness of internal control? Collusion of employees is inherent limitation. Faulty judgment is inherent limitation. Management override is inherent. These are the terms I'm repeatedly saying. But these incompatible duties, this is not the inherent limitation. Hence our right answer. Which of the following best describes an inherent limitation that should be recognized by an auditor when considering the potential effectiveness of internal control? Controls, whether manual or automated, whose effectiveness depends on segregation of duties, can be circumvented by collusion. This is one of the inherent limitations of control. Yes. Management's aggressive attitude towards financial reporting and its emphasis on meeting projected profit goals most likely would significantly influence an entity's control environment when the management is dominated by one individual who is also a shareholder. So this will result in concentration of power, and he is the one who can then influence the selection of accounting policy, and he might go for some aggressive accounting tactics. So this is something that can happen. Internal auditors have direct access to the board of directors and entities management. That is good. It's a good control or good feature of control environment. The audit committee is active in overseeing the entity's financial reporting policies. Good. External policies established by parties outside the entity affects its accounting practices. So that can happen, but the problem with A is something that is not good. According to COSO, which of the following is the most effective method to transmit a message of ethical behavior through an organization? Yes, demonstrating appropriate behavior by example. This is what others will follow. Which of the following is the most effective method to transmit a message of ethical behavior throughout an organization, not to identify improper behavior or removing pressures to meet unrealistic targets, particularly for short term. Sometimes we have to give challenging targets so that management can give their best. Specifying the competence levels for every job in an organization and translating those levels to requisite knowledge and skill. That is just to convince individuals to behave this way, but that we want to convey some message, not some rule-based approach. Next. A senior executive of an international organization who wishes to demonstrate the importance of the security of company's information to all team members should do what? Review and accept the information security risk assessment in a staff meeting. Attending staff meeting doesn't show the level of commitment and involvement that is required in this question. Refer to the organization's US human resources policies on privacy in a company's newsletter. Well, printing something in the newsletter doesn't show your commitment and involvement. Visibly, so that others can see, participate in a global information security campaign, and that makes much more sense. Others are watching, and then you participate in such a campaign, so that would reflect positively on the senior executive, and others will follow suit. Allocate additional budget resources. Allocating resources doesn't show your commitment, doesn't demonstrate your commitment. Internal controls are likely to fail for any of the following reasons except they are designed and implemented properly, fine, and their design changes as process changes. So this is good. Internal controls are likely to fail for any of the following reasons, but not because of this. This is right. They are not designed and implemented properly at the outset, they will fail. Right reason for failure. They are designed and implemented properly as static controls, but the environment in which they operate changes. So those static control, stagnant, they didn't change, but the environment changed, so they will fail. So they will fail in this case C. They are designed and implemented properly, but their operations changes in some way. So this will cause a failure. So BCD is why controls are likely to fail, but not A. The primary responsibility for establishing and maintaining internal control rests with the management. Look no further. Which of the following best describes the purpose of the 3 lines of defense? To enhance communication on risk management and control by clarifying how specific duties should be assigned and coordinated within the organization. This is the best option amongst all. We haven't even read BCD, but this is the best what describe the purpose of 3 lines of defenses. Which of the following is least accurate in describing the functions that serve as the 3 lines of defense in an organization? Functions that evaluate control adequacy and effectiveness in responding to risk. This is the correct one. Correctly describe the functions. Functions that develop and implement controls and risk management process. Correct. Functions that calculate and measure risk liability. The calculation and measurement of risk liability is not one of the 3 lines of defenses. Functions that monitor, control, and control risk. This is this. Remember, evaluating effectiveness and adequacy, this is the part of internal auditor's job. Develop and implement control for risk management, that is the operational management. And the function that monitor, control, and risk, that is the risk management and compliance. This was the second defense, third defense, and the first defense. This is not the defense at all. Which of the following factors would most likely be considered an inherent limitation to an entity's internal control system? Human judgment in the decision-making process. Human judgment is one of the inherent limitations we clearly discussed in the previous questions. Human judgments, then we had override, collusion. Which of the following item is an example of an inherent limitations in an internal control? Human error in decision making, human judgment. According to COSO, the proper tone at the top helps a company to do each of the following except create a compliance supporting culture that is committed to enterprise risk management. That is true. That is the proper tone at the top. Navigate gray areas where no specific compliance rules or guidelines exist so that this risk can be managed in this specific area. That is the proper tone at the top. Promote willingness to seek assistance and report problems before it is too late for corrective action. This is the right tone at the top. But adhere to just fiscal budgets and goals as outlined by internal audit committee and board of directors. This is not the proper tone at the top. And most importantly, the audit committee doesn't set goals. It's just a watchdog there. We missed question 61.